Welcome to Among the Lilies. This is a show for ladies who are tired of pretending and are ready to be real. I'm your host, Cameron Frad. And what does that even mean, huh? For those of you that have been listening to the podcast for years, you know exactly what it means to be tired of pretending and to be ready to be real. But I'm newer here on YouTube, and you may not know what that means. So I'm going to explain to you. Our logo here on the cup. Look, isn't that cool? I happen to have brought my mug. Thank you so much, all my Patreon members, for supporting the podcast and making this happen. You have a cool mug like this, feel free to put it up on social media, tag us in it, and we'll repost it, because that'll be fun to see what you're having in your beautiful mug. But we are ladies that are tired of pretending and are ready to be real. So I'm going to tell you a really funny thing that happened to me the other week. I went up to Cleveland Clinic for a doctor's appointment, which I do often, but I ended up going out to lunch. I have a really strict diet because of all my health stuff. And so I often Google paleo restaurants, and Cleveland has tons. And I like checking out new ones. And so I found one, it had good reviews. I went to drive there and I pulled up and it looked like a medical complex. And I was like, I'm definitely in the wrong spot. So there's like a drive-through under area. And so the door was locked. And so I went to leave, and a gentleman came to the door, opened up, and was like, "Oh, hello." I was like, "Oh, hello." And he's like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sorry, I think I have the wrong place. There's not a restaurant. This isn't a restaurant, is it?" And he's like, "Yes, of course." And I was like, "Oh, are you open?" He's like, "Yes, of course we're open for you. Please park, come in." I was like, "Okay, that's a kind of different greeter." He was an older gentleman, probably about my dad's age, but there was something different about his face. I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. Park the car, I go in, and then I realized what it was. His face didn't really move. Like, I'm much younger than him. I'm young enough to probably be his daughter, because I think he's around my dad's age. But he didn't have a single wrinkle on his face, and his smile kind of stayed in a set position. And he was very friendly. He welcomed me in and asked for my name. He's like, "Oh, I'll take you up. I'm taking Jessica here up to the 3rd floor. I'll take you to the 2nd floor where the restaurant is located." I was like, "Okay, thanks." And he like walkie-talkie someone while we're in the elevator and says, "Cameron will be coming to dine with us today." And someone's like, "Oh, I'll meet her there." I was like, "This is different." Okay. So the doors open, I walk out, and I'm like, this does not look like a restaurant. It kind of looked like a spa type environment. Like if you went to go get a massage or get your nails done, it kind of had that, much fancier, like a very rich version of any of that I've ever done before. And I was like, okay, this is different. And I go up to this desk, and there's this beautiful girl who has a lot of makeup on, but she's very beautiful. And she has like the eyelash extensions. So like as she blinks, you can see it like a mile away. And she just has these massive, beautiful eyes and like the drawn on, just a lot of makeup, way more than I currently have on. I probably should have on a bit more to make the picture maybe a little better for you, but what can I say? This is what you got, because I put it on in the car as I drove here. So anyhow, she was very friendly. Let me look at the menu. I ordered, and she escorted me to a room where I sat down, and there was literally 5 tables. I'm looking around. I'm like, this isn't a restaurant. Where am I? And the gentleman comes back in, and he's so happy to have me and starts talking about, do I know of Dr. Chai or Dr. Chi's work? And I was like, no. And she's like, how did you hear about us? I'm like, I Googled paleo restaurant. He's like, oh, well, and starts telling me about this other woman who's maybe the CEO or the owner of the building. I'm not really sure, but I could tell she was a very, important woman. And he's like, she struggles for years with cellulite. She doesn't like when I tell people this story. I'm like, oh, please don't tell me. I don't know her. I don't need to know. She's like, no, it's important that you know this. And I was like, okay, like I don't know if the random person eating a salad in the restaurant needs to know about this woman's cellulite, but he goes on to describe, and all the plastic surgeons she met with were just arrogant and rather rude and kind of smug. And I was like, as plastic surgeons are, trying to make a joke. And he's like, oh, has that been your experience? And I was like, oh, no, sorry, No, I think just plastic surgeons are known to be more arrogant because they're very, okay, insert foot and mouth. That was Matt cringing in the background because he knows how this story ends. And I at the time, I should have clued in. This guy's obviously had a lot of work done. And I think I did know that. And I'm trying to just figure out where this plastic surgery is going. And I was like, no, I've just heard that, and I'm just smiling awkwardly. And he's like, so what do you do for a living? And I was like, oh, well, I'm a mom, I take care of my kids. And he's like, oh, well, that's good. And I was like, yeah. And then I run a podcast on the side. He's like, oh, what's that about? I was like, well, it's for ladies that are tired of pretending and are ready to be real. And he's like, huh. What does that mean? And I was like, well, it's all about being like real life you and not Instagram version of you, like just embracing who you are and being comfortable in your own skin type of stuff. And he's like, huh, interesting. Well, you must do very well then. And I was like, well, thanks. I think I do. But I think he meant I must do very well. And he's like, and you stay home with the children as well. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, how many kids do you have? I told him 4. And he's like, whoa. He's like, wow, you must do very well. And your husband, what is his job? I'm like, he's also a podcaster and YouTuber. And he's like, oh, okay. So you do very well. And I was like, I mean, we enjoy what we do. We love our life. But I think he's thinking you must be making millions of dollars to stay at home and take care of 4 children, which is not true. But, we do well enough. Praise God. We're able to get a roof over our children's heads. And, yeah. So anyhow, he brings out my food. It's delicious. I start eating it. Comes back in and telling me the rest of the story. And I'm trying to eat too. And he's like, oh, keep eating. And I was like, okay, I'm going to. And so I'm eating my food. And he was very friendly. And he tells me about this woman that he was talking about, and then this Dr. Chai. And she, she had horrible experiences until she met this woman. And then finally, she met like this amazing plastic surgeon who was a woman and understood all the woman needs and wasn't arrogant or smug or any of these other things. But the woman at the front desk, she's like, you should partner with me. Like, you shouldn't be part of this practice or something. So the two of them went in on this business, and I'm eating at a plastic surgeon's office is what I realized. And I'm like, huh, that's different. I didn't plan this for lunch. And so I'm eating my salad, and I'm like, no wonder he didn't understand what it meant to be tired of pretending and ready to be real. Like, this gentleman and most of the people in this facility live to stay looking young, improve upon the way they look, like not just, the ideal of how they looked in their 20s, keeping that going and doing whatever it takes to change that. So he brought me a menu of things that they offer. Botox obviously was on there. There was all other things that I just have never heard of before, to be honest. And then I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And he's telling me about all these supplements. I'm like, thank you. I'm really just here for the food. Thank you, though. And then as I'm about to leave, he asked how I enjoyed my meal. I told him it was delicious, because it was. I'll have to put up a picture, because it was. It looked like this beautiful gourmet meal that was really affordable, mainly because they make their money on plastic surgery, not on the dinner. But it was great. And he asked me at the very end there was a flag out front from another country and said, she's world renowned. People fly from all over the world to have her, work on them. And I was like, wow, that's great. Good for her, And then at the end, he came, as I was about to leave, he's like, do you want to know what she specializes in? And I was like, no, sure, I guess. And he's like, breast augmentation, and looks at me, and I was like, excuse you. I didn't say that, but I thought it in my head. I'm like, okay, Cameron, because I would have gone overkill of like, how dare you? Okay, I may be small chested, but it's because I breastfed 4 babies. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. And he's like, so if you're ever interested, I'm like, oh no, I'm not. Thank you. Nope. I am very happy with me and my body the way it is. Thank you so much. This meal was delicious. And then I left. And as I was walking out, I was trying not to bust out laughing. I either wanted to maybe give him a piece of my mind. And how dare you think that I need breast augmentation? Okay, I'm like, I don't want a boob job. Thank you very much. Second of all, I just ordered a salad. What makes you think that this is the perfect time to pitch a boob job to me? Okay. And now it made sense. I'm like, this is why tired of pretending and ready to be real doesn't make sense for him, because he's not real. And he's in a business that's not encouraging people to be real or to be themselves. It's trying to one up the last person, right? And be the best at this or the best looking. And Matt, what's that song you always sing where plastic surgery?
Oh, it's Fake Plastic Trees by Radiohead.
Radiohead has a song, Fake Plastic Trees. And I love when Matt sings it. I don't love when he sings it, but
He used to do surgery for girls in the 80s, but gravity always wins.
he used to do surgery for girls in the 80s, but gravity always wins. And I think that's so true. I think that
It's so true. It really does win.
gravity does always win. And I think sometimes when you see people and they've had so much work done, you just kind of feel bad for them. And you're like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Like your lips should not be that big. And you know, that part of your face should like wrinkle. Like when I go like this, like there should be some wrinkles there. I mean, maybe you don't have as many wrinkles as me. I didn't when I was 20, but I mean, I laugh. I enjoy life. I'm okay that I have wrinkles. I do try to remember to use night cream, not moisturizer at night. But yeah, I just think it's kind of sad. And I think if we buy into that, if that's been our standard and it's like you're only as successful or as beautiful as you present yourself, like that's really hard to live up to that standard and to always feel like you have to be that. And in the end, gravity always wins. I think some people, and I'm not anti-plastic surgery, so don't hear that. Like if you have been in a car wreck, or if you, one of my best friends when we were little, we took our dogs rollerblading. It seemed like a great idea. My best friend, we were in, I think, 6th grade, and we had really big dogs, and we got them on a leash. And I was like, Rachel, what if we took the dogs on a walk but wore our rollerblades and we run around our neighborhood in Louisiana? And it was awesome. Like you hold on to the dog and they just take off and you're like, oh my goodness, it's so much fun. I was stronger than her, so I took the bigger, stronger dog, and she had the older, not a strong dog, but still a big, strong dog who just took off running. And it was so much fun. We went around the block. We did this a few times. Well, this one day when we did it, the dog saw a squirrel and just took off running, both dogs. I pulled my dog over into the grass. Like I kind of bailed out in the grass and fell. And so the dog stopped. Unfortunately, the dog my friend Rachel had just kept running, and Rachel's skates went out from under her. Her rollerblades went back. She fell on the cement and she was dragged. And it scraped up her forehead, her cheek, her chin, her shoulder. And so I'm yelling at the dog to stop. One of her little sisters comes out, and as I'm trying to get off my rollerblades and run ahead, the little sister comes over to her, and she just looks up, and she's just covered in blood, and you know, she's just bleeding everywhere. I feel horrible. I'm running and I'm like, Miss Madeline, you know, I'm yelling to my friend's mom. I'm yelling to my mom. I'm trying to get anyone's attention. I'm like, we need help. And we lived in a small, tight-knit community, and so multiple neighbors are coming out to help get the dogs, give them to a sister to put them away, and trying to get her cleaned up. She had big bleeding pockets of area that scabbed, and she had to go to the plastic surgeon. And she didn't, thank you Jesus, she did not need plastic surgery. I felt so bad. Like I spoiled her rotten for the next like 3 weeks. She didn't go to school, and I kept bringing her back like bags of candy and like her favorite sandwich from Burger King and all this stuff. And I was like, Rachel, I'm so sorry, because it wasn't my fault, but it was my idea, so I felt guilty for it. But she went to a plastic surgeon to have them look. If she had needed plastic surgery, that would have been totally fine, because she had a beautiful face. And if it was ruined because of this accident, they had talked about possibly grafting some areas to make sure it heals. But her mom was like really into all this natural stuff and put all this stuff, and she healed great. I think she has a tiny scar. But my point is, I'm not against surgery. I'm not against plastic surgery. When you need it, it's so great. And yeah, I've had other like family members who have needed it for certain things. Like we have this thing in our family where like our eyelids like keep growing for some reason. And like my grandmother's had to have this surgery where like they take out some of that flap of skin so she can still see. Like it was like infringing on her vision. So if I am like her, which I think I am, and one day I can't see, I'll totally go have plastic surgery so my eyelids like stay where they're supposed to and I can see. Yeah, so I'm not anti-plastic surgery, but I don't think it is good to have plastic surgery for the sake of trying to look better than you naturally look. Like restoring something to the way that it was is a bit different, but I don't know. I think someone could argue the case, well, I'm just restoring my skin to look back more youthful, back when I had higher cheekbones or whatever. So I'm not talking about that. It's a fine line. I feel like you need to pray and discern this, but I am anti getting injections into your lips so they're thicker and fuller and getting this sucked out and this sucked in and this pushed up and this pulled down and all these things. Like I am anti getting a facelift. Like I'm anti getting a boob job for the sake of wanting larger breasts. I mean, I have friends I have a really good friend of mine who had that was a breast reduction. Never mind. She had back issues and she had to have a breast reduction. Totally fine with that. I have friends that have like had so many babies, they've had to and they had like a herniated belly button. They had to fix that and had it. I'm okay with that, but I think like getting a tummy tuck just so you don't have to work out, like that's different. Like I've had friends what do you call it? I have it too, where your abs like kind of separate. I forget what it's called, but like they basically have to sew the abs back together. Like I'm okay that, but just getting plastic surgery so you can, I don't know, look better or try to feel better about yourself. Like, I don't think that's good. I think God made you really beautiful and really amazing. And he wants you to be happy with who you are and the way that you look. And sometimes it's hard to get older. Sometimes it's hard when our bodies do weird things. Like I have hormone issues, and I don't know if that's why or if it's because I've gotten older, but seriously, I feel like I have like a massive mustache going on right now, and I needed to pluck my face before I got on. This is a product. They don't pay me, but I'm going to tell you about my little secret for my lip, because I used to get it waxed, and then I don't know. It was too long in between waxings, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. And a friend of mine told me about this, and she said, Cameron, I'll give you one word, flawless. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. But they make one for your leg too, but this one's for your lip and facial hair. It's called Flawless. If my battery, so I was going to do it, but I didn't do it. So I kind of have a mustache in this video. I'm so sorry that I have a mustache in this video. I try to pluck my face before I come on. But this is it, right? Among the Lilies, what are we all about? We're tired of pretending and are ready to be real. So I'm going to be super real with y'all. That's what I'm about right now, is plucking my mustache. So the battery in it was frozen because I live in Ohio. I'm not used to living in the north. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll just do it in the car, whatever. But I kept my makeup bag in there because I often do. And oh, there you go. It's not frozen anymore. So would you like a sample of how I clean my upper lip? So this little doodad, I just go like this. Oh yeah, isn't that nice? Oh yeah, that's so much better. If I had a zoom on this camera, I would zoom in and show you how much better my face looks, okay? I can't believe I'm doing this. Praise you, Jesus. Oh, being on YouTube is so humbling when there's videos of you out there. But if you struggle with having a little upper lip hair, this is awesome. I always joke, I'm like, I feel like I'm Italian. I'm not Italian, but I feel like I'm kind of hairy like an Italian. Not that you Italians are hairy. I'm so sorry. Man, I just need to insert my foot in my mouth. Anyhow, the whole point is, yeah, we're tired of pretending, ready to be real, right? And you guys are here because you want to be real. And my normal people, I love you. We've been journeying together for the past, oh gosh, I don't even know. Has it been 5 years? I need to find out when the podcast first came out. I think it's almost 5 years. But yeah, let's see. Peter's 7. Yeah, I think it's been 5 years, which is crazy. We should celebrate. We should do something to celebrate 5 years. But yeah, I just want to continue to be real with y'all and be honest. And I'm still learning my footing, switching from audio to video. And as you can see in the background, it does say Pints with Aquinas. I'm still working on my home studio. So you Patreon members, thank you so much. I've just purchased a new computer, which is so exciting, which I need for the home office. Now I need to get some cameras and some poles and some lighting and all sorts of stuff. But we're working on getting a home office set up, and then I can interview more people in my house and not have to worry about Matt's schedule. So if you enjoy me being on YouTube, if you're liking this, please like, subscribe, share this video with your people, have them share it with other people. And then we'll just kind of grow this channel, which will be fun because I feel like, I don't know, I still have one foot in the podcast world and like I've taken a baby step into the video world, but I'm still, I don't know, I guess gaining confidence in it, but I think part of it will help when I'm in the comforts of my own home and it's less of a, Matt's studio is not sterile. I don't mean it like that. It's a great studio. It works very well for Pints with Aquinas and what he's doing. But for Among the Lilies, it's more like I want to sit down with a girlfriend and have a chat over a glass of wine or a cup of tea. And so that'll, I don't know, help with that. So if you're interested in becoming a Patreon member and helping make that happen, please look at the link below. It's patreon.com/amongthelilies. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, whatever social medias you're on. Thank you so much. I love you all. I am praying for you, and God bless. Goodbye.